Namaste, ladies and gentlemen. After a meaningful insight from Aditya, let's take this session forward. I am Leena Coates, Relationship Officer, handling student engagement activities, industry interaction, and administrative function at NSBT. Let us now move to the modern day revolutionary Vineet Saraiwala, the visionary founder of Atypical Advantage, where disability is not a hindrance but a badge of honor. With a heart as big as his dreams and his mind as sharp as his business acumen, Vineet's platform is not just creating economic livelihood, but rewriting the narrative of inclusivity and empowerment. Let's learn more about Vineet in this quick video.
एटिपिकल एडवांटेज भारत का सबसे बड़ा इंक्लूसिव प्लेटफॉर्म है। डिसेबल्ड हो नॉन डिसेबल्ड हो फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, अगर आप मेहनती हो ना तो आप आगे निकलोगे। हमारे पास लाइक 3 बेहतरीन टीचर्स थे बैंगलोर से जिन्होंने हमें फ्री में कैट के लिए पढ़ना सिखाया और फिर हम दोनों ने आई एम बैंगलोर क्रैक किया। पहले वुमेन को या तो आप मोर ह्यूमन मानते थे कि देवी शक्ति दुर्गा नारी, बट उनका जब रेस्पेक्ट आता था वो नहीं करेंगे। सेम वे विद डिसेबिलिटी, राइट? या तो आप उनको ज्यादा ह्यूमन मांगेंगे कि मैं और अनुज के पास 6 सेंस है, एक्स्ट्रा पावर है, भगवान ने शक्ति दी है, बट मेरे को लगता है जो ट्रू चेंज सोसाइटी में आएगा वो ना तो डिसेबल लोग को इंस्पिरेशन या स्पेशली एबल्ड बोलने से आएगा, ना तो लेस ह्यूमन या बेचारा ये लोग कुछ नहीं कर सकते से आएगा। Impact is my top metric. The expectation is prioritizing social returns over financial returns.
I now request Vineet to take over the dais and give his insights.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
So everyone waiting for lunch? Yeah. And people at the back can hear me, right? Yes. In fact, I'll just play one more video, and as such, very similar to this, but just a bit about my background as such. Before we play the video, as such, and what just giving you a context, and I think education is the biggest leveler here, right? Like people from all strata, because of education, can pretty much rise to the top, become entrepreneurs, become CEOs of large companies. Everyone here would agree with that? As such, and I fundamentally believe in the power of education, because for me, my brother, whatever we have achieved is because of education. And at one point I could not even think that I could study on the laptop or on the smartphone. And because of technology and 3 teachers who taught me and my brother on using screen readers and again how to crack common aptitude tests, both of us cracked IIM Bangalore together in the same batch. We were in the same batch. So I think that has happened because of education. But just going back a bit, so I have this condition called retinitis pigmentosa. It's a degenerative condition. Sight keeps on going down as age progresses. I think as entrepreneurship is about uncertainty, I think this uncertainty is there on my day-to-day life because of the gradual loss of sight. And I don't know, there's no cure for it. I don't know how to navigate this. So lot of uncertainty happening with my own life. But was always good in studies, and when you probably have a condition like this, you always try to prove to the world, right? Like, and I am very sure here it might even come with a lot of women or lot of marginalized communities who would say that, hey, women cannot fly, and they are again doing pretty much everything into different businesses. They have become CXOs, they have become entrepreneurs, and this is the same way for me and my brother. As such, so and that is probably that way to demonstrate to the society that people with disabilities cannot do certain things was my driving force. as such. So for example, people with disabilities cannot run. So I finished 7 half marathons. People with disabilities cannot cycle. I've cycled 5,000 kilometers from Manali to Khardungla and almost all places in Maharashtra on my tandem bike. A lot of perception is there that people with disabilities cannot study. And both of us actually graduated from IIM Bangalore because as such. And same way, probably people with disabilities cannot run companies, and especially a person with severe disability. And I quit my job to start this platform called Atypical Advantage. So all of these common stereotypes about people with disabilities was something which I wanted to bust this, as well as probably prove to the world that most of these things are not true about people with disabilities in general. I was always good in studies, one of the highest ever cons percentile, without a pen and paper. Probably not as brilliant as Aditya though. but yeah, was decent enough, I would say. And then 6 years of corporate experience in Future Group, where I actually realized the problem of people with disability. I would still say that I was privileged enough. I was from a small town in Jamshedpur, but still from a middle class family. So never faced a lot of barriers with respect to disability. For example, if I wanted to read a book, probably, I had teachers who could help me there. But not everyone, again, had that privilege. I came to know about the software called JAWS, which I now tell everybody, every blind person, and they can be pretty much the best versions of themselves with technology. So that is a screen reader, text-to-speech software through which I operate my day-to-day life. And I remember I was doing, complex regression, analytics, category management, a lot of these things in Future Group, directly reporting into the CEO of Big Bazaar. There I hired more than 500 people with disabilities across 300 plus stores, as well as made stores accessible with accessible trial room, washroom, and more than 150,000 shoppers with disability shopped across our stores. So initially the mindset was that there was sympathy when you think about people with disabilities as customers. We said that we want to increase our wallet size from them, and we had the shopping assistance across so many of these stores as such. But that gave me a very good understanding about business in general, different functions, and so on. So after 6 years, pretty much a very standard life, I would say, getting into a B school, and then 6 years of corporate experience, wanting to earn more money, wanting to rise to the top, switching companies and so on. But after 5 to 6 years, I think, and this journey also happened around the COVID times. As such, and where in retail and hospitality, people with disabilities lost so many of the jobs, right? Like so much layoffs were happening during COVID. And so many of them gave CVs to me. And I was like, what would I do with these CVs, right? Everyone here might get 2, 3, 5 CVs on their own WhatsApp, ki help me find a job. And I was not able to find any solution to these CVs, right? COVID hit, layoffs, and no company was willing to hire, and probably that to people with disabilities. And the another thing was lack of transparency and information asymmetry. For example, we wanted to hire a singer and a model with disability in our company, and I was not able to find a single performer with disability. And again, reaching out to multiple people, in spite of being a person with disability, I did not know where can I find that information. And that is when I again, quit my job. One of my mentors, and I think having mentors obviously plays a great role. And he said to me that Vineet, you are blind. Number one, you are from a middle class family. Third, again, you are from a good college. Fourth, you have some corporate experience. And it's not about you or me, but India will lose an opportunity to help people with disabilities at scale. And that is how I quit my job. मेरे को कुछ नहीं पता था कि again you know that mission was very clear कि मेरे को पैसे दिलाने हैं to people with disabilities. And again there also the dilemma was there that you know should I do this as a for-profit company or a non-profit entity. And I was thinking कि अगर मैं दूसरों की sustainability के बारे में बात कर रहा हूँ तो the platform which I am establishing has to be sustainable. And again another thing is मेरे को like I'm not very good at asking money in general. So I thought that I'll जो भी होगा देखा जाएगा. Let's start a for-profit. The mission statement was the guiding thing for me, and that is how Atypical Advantage was started. Probably we'll just play both the videos in fact back to back. I think one of them is an iteration of Shark Tank, and then I'll quickly tell you because this is very innovative in a way on how social problems can be solved using technology. And let me tell you, I don't know if Aditya here would agree with that. Most of the startups, whether it's a social startup or a commercial business enterprise, I personally think you will not be able to solve a problem in less than 10 years of time frame if you're genuinely out there to solve a problem. If you're here to build businesses and sell and exit, you can probably do at a lesser time frame. आपको अगर असली problem solve करनी है तो आपको 10 से 12 साल देना होगा उस सिंगल प्रॉब्लम स्टेटमेंट को. सो that is the thought, but we'll just look at both the videos together and then come back.
हेलो शार्क्स.
हेलो. हाय buddy.
मेरा नाम विनीत सरायवाला है और मैं जमशेदपुर से हूँ.
हाय विनीत.
शार्क्स, मैं विजुअली इम्पेयर्ड हूँ और मेरे जैसे डिसेबल्ड लोग के लिए ये दुनिया डिसाइड नहीं कर सकती कि हम क्या कर सकते हैं और क्या नहीं. खराब तो लगता था, टीवी नहीं देख पाना, बाहर जाके दोस्तों के साथ खेल नहीं पाना, झूठ बोल के या किसी तरह काम चला के मैं कर रहा था अपना लाइफ मैनेज. बट एक पॉइंट आया, उसके बाद आप नहीं बोल सकते हो झूठ. मेरा फिलॉसफी वही है कि यार सक्सेस का कोई शॉर्टकट नहीं है मेहनत के अलावा. डिसेबल्ड हो नॉन डिसेबल्ड हो फर्क नहीं पड़ता है, अगर आप मेहनती हो ना तो आप आगे निकलोगे. मैं और मेरा भाई दोनों एक्चुअली ब्लाइंड है और हम लोग दोनों पढ़ाई में हमेशा से अच्छे रहे हैं. एंड हमारे पास लाइक 3 बेहतरीन टीचर्स थे बैंगलोर से जिन्होंने हमें फ्री में कैट के लिए पढ़ना सिखाया और फिर हम दोनों ने आई एम बैंगलोर क्रैक किया. और मेरे और उसकी जर्नी काफी सिमिलर है, एट द सेम टाइम ऑपोजिट है. ही इज अ फाइनेंस विजार्ड, खुद की इन्वेस्टमेंट बैंक चलाता है.
ओह वाओ.
और मोर देन $500 मिलियन सिंगल हैंडेडली रेस कर चुका है.
वाओ. नाम क्या है उनका?
उसका नाम अनुज सरायवाला है. फर्म का नाम इल्यूमिनेट कैपिटल है.
हाँ मैं जानता हूँ अनुज सर. वो एक लोन रेंजर की तरह माने जाते हैं एंड ही इज अ बिग टाइम शार्प शूटर. इज दैट राइट?
यस.
कमाल और गजब की बात ये नहीं है कि आप यहाँ तक पहुँच गए हो. कमाल की बात ये है कि आप में इतना मतलब पॉजिटिविटी है जो बहुत कम देखने को मिलती है. कैसे आई है पॉजिटिविटी?
पहले वुमेन को या तो आप मोर ह्यूमन मानते थे कि देवी शक्ति दुर्गा नारी, बट उनका जब रेस्पेक्ट आता था वो नहीं करेंगे. सेम वे विद डिसेबिलिटी, राइट? या तो आप उनको ज्यादा ह्यूमन मांगेंगे कि मैं और अनुज के पास सिक्स सेंस है, एक्स्ट्रा पावर है, भगवान ने शक्ति दी है. बट मेरे को लगता है जो ट्रू चेंज सोसाइटी में आएगा वो ना तो डिसेबल लोग को इंस्पिरेशन या स्पेशली एबल्ड बोलने से आएगा, ना तो लेस ह्यूमन या बेचारा ये लोग कुछ नहीं कर सकते से आएगा. अगर हम किसी भी इंसान को, जो कोई भी मार्जिनलाइज सेगमेंट का, अगर हम उसको इंसान की तरह ही रहने देना तो बहुत कुछ समाज में बदल सकता है.
Totally.
बहुत बड़ी बात.
Very well said.
Yes.
We'll just play the other one quickly, which is on Atypical Advantage.
Everything
I
you
have
are
been
about to
shouting
witness
since
is
2023
powered
that learn
by a
ChatGPT,
person
learn AI
with a
tools.
disability,
Many people followed my
including-
advice. To be precise, more than 1 million people have followed my advice and gave me average rating of 4.92 out of 5. And people who are not accepting it, they are accepting their fate of getting laid off. You still
Skip. This is YouTube's business model.
Everything you are about to witness is powered by a person with a disability, including this voiceover. And we want all of you to know that we can sing, play instruments, create art, and we can become managers and directors of companies too.
But society is constantly defining
what we can and can't do.
Don't believe us? Ask the 13 crore people with disabilities in India, among whom 85% have no permanent jobs. But this company is changing that. Atypical Advantage is spearheading the hiring process for people with disabilities not only in India but the world.
When I started Atypical Advantage, companies had that stigma or lower expectation from persons with disabilities. But on seeing the high quality performances, employers were amazed. They realized that people with disabilities can be as good as anyone else. Now all the companies who have worked with us understand the advantages of hiring them. In fact, businesses that actively seek to employ persons with disabilities outperform businesses who do not. And their revenues were 28% higher, net income twice, and profit margins higher by 30%. The companies who embrace inclusion saw a 90% increase in employee retention. And the other employees can see the company's inclusive culture. But most importantly, the adversities which people with disability go through brings in a different level of hard work. Unfortunately, 99% of companies have not even started with 1% of inclusive hiring. But it's simple. All they have to do is reach out and create a safe space. So when you embrace inclusion, it's not only about people with disabilities, but equality for all.
I think Nishit would talk about the productivity of people with disabilities. So that was the thought for launching Atypical Advantage. Ki how could we generate livelihood? There are four ways on
From
how.
Assamese Muga silk to
Sure.
jasmine oil used.
Yeah, there are four ways on how we do that as such. Just taking up this question, like what do you think across a lot of the top 5 B schools, let's say IMs in the country, what do you think people with disabilities would be placed the last when companies come? The people with disabilities studying in IMs, what do you think? The top 5 IMs in the country, what would be the typical trend like when you want to place people with disabilities? Imagine this year, right? Like everyone is talking about slowdown in hiring. B schools numbers, placements probably might be down in some of the top IMs. What do you think would be the situation for people with disabilities studying in these B schools? The top 5 of the country. Would they be placed last? That has been probably happening year after year after year as such. This year we have changed that for 2 B schools in the country where people with disabilities were placed close to 2 weeks earlier than non-disabled people as such. And we did that and I was very, very happy as such. Most of the times companies have that bias towards hiring people with disabilities. It was there equally for me and my brother, and where they thought that we'll not be able to do certain kind of roles, sales, finance or marketing. And I tell people now that I sell paintings which I cannot see myself. That's funny as such. But so we do this through different ways. First is atypical experiences where we have over 500 plus performers with disabilities. Dancers, singers, comedian, musicians, magicians, motivational speakers, voiceover artists. And what is our pitch to companies? आप उनका talent देखिए, look at their portfolio because all the portfolio of all of these people with disabilities are live on the platform. And आपको जमता है तो you hire them for your award functions, events and so on. So that is one way. The second way is atypical art, where again we have artists with disabilities, 200 plus artists with disabilities all across the country. And just take a wild guess on how much money would we have transferred to performers and visual artists in the country. We just hit a number of 1 crore in artist earnings, which was transferred to the artists with disabilities in this country. So, and I think, I know it's still, early days for us as a business. But that was again for me a personal milestone, because we are always about maximizing artist earnings. And both of this, we did this in December, and we were very, very happy about it. A lot of people with disabilities never had PAN cards, though their parents were calling us कि अब PAN card बनाना पड़ेगा because the income has increased. A lot of them told us कि पहली बार हमारे बैंक में 1 लाख रुपए से ज़्यादा है, as such. And the best part is they earned this money with dignity, right? मतलब there was no बेचारा or no sympathy, because these, and we have worked with 250 plus companies as such, and सबने उनको सम्मान के साथ उनकी portfolio देख के उनको काम दिया as such. So that was on these two verticals, and the other vertical is hiring, where we have now aggregated, and we work with the government, we work with the NGOs as such, and basically we now have a pool of over 15,000 profiles of people with disabilities across multiple cities, and companies hire people with disabilities. And what is the biggest obstacle in hiring a person with disability? Beyond the work, it's the mindset, which needed to be changed. And I'll not say that we are successful there, but we are definitely trying to do our bit. Shark Tank was just one of the ways on why I thought going to Shark Tank made sense, because I wanted to break this mindset. Most of the people in any of the reality TV shows, or even a show like Shark Tank, when a person with disability goes ahead and pitches, it is about emotions, it is about sympathy. If you looked at it, my pitch was extremely loud, because I wanted to be very clear that people with disabilities are as strong as anybody else, and judge people based on merit. Look at their work. If it makes sense, go ahead and give funding, or any other aspect. So that is why I'd gone to Shark Tank largely, and I think it changed a lot of mindsets in the country. This episode, a lot of rural places, blind people got a lot of hope to see that they can also do this. And being from Jamshedpur, probably I can relate to Aurangabad in a way. Let me tell you, I built this entire company sitting at home, even connecting to corporates. So it's not that a person from a Mumbai or a Delhi or a Bangalore can do good. I think with technology, the plane is again getting more equal, and it applies to even cities of our country. And so that is one learning for all of us here. So if you always think that building from Aurangabad is not possible, for me it was equally difficult doing this from my home, and I was always able to do it. And the second thing which while building this platform, which I realized from my own learning point of view, is a very strong focus on the mission statement, which is to generate livelihood for people with disabilities. Initially, I did not know that even I could build this as a sustainable venture. I was very, very clear with the kind of investors I wanted. And this would sound very counterintuitive to people here. All my investors, whenever I pitched them, I said my vision is social returns and not financial returns. The financial returns which I can promise you is close to 0% would you invest. And because I'm trying to solve a problem which I don't have any answers towards, as such, you will be able to find people like this. It is difficult, but at least you are true, because I at least don't know the answer, and I know that there is a big problem statement. 85% of people with disabilities don't have jobs. So many of them lack basic employment or educational opportunities like all of us here. So there is definitely a huge opportunity. But at the same time, getting the right set of people to back this up. And now the funny part is we have a waitlist form of our investors where we screen our investors, and they need to give us reasons why they want to invest in us. And that is how, we take in investors who prioritize social returns over financial returns. But in spite of all of this, even purely from a numbers point of view, we are growing every year 3 to 4x year on year. And And I think this was like one of like my boldest decisions yet to build this. And again, putting all of my experiences of 6 years into corporate, my own lived experience of as a person with disability. And I know it's difficult as an entrepreneur to do this and tackle some of these social problems. But here I think some of you are some of the brightest minds in the country, I would say. अगर हम लोग society के problems को solve नहीं करेंगे, the most intelligent or people here around, then I think no one else would. Solving a problem like how to get pizzas delivered in 10 minutes to 2 minutes is also a good problem to solve. But अगर आपको solve करना ही है कुछ, to take some of the social problems, right? That and use technology to solve it, because आप quickly कर सकते हो. 3 साल में I have not gone to any of the corporates physically, and we are still connected with 250 plus companies. So it's possible, and we have placed the best people in this market conditions. And all of these verticals, we break mindsets. We have our awareness workshops, which help us do that, and ultimately getting people with disabilities opportunities. Another thing which we are exploring is upskilling people with disabilities, because India में अभी भी courses है ही नहीं for people with disabilities. अगर वो पढ़ना चाहते हैं, like me and my brother, became good in our things because we researched on our own, and हमने खुद से काफ़ी advanced Excel skills सीखी, जो probably हमें उस टाइम पढ़ाने के लिए कोई था नहीं. I personally believe कि जो problems है for people with disability starts with education as such, and वो वहाँ से compound होते जाता है, increase होते जाता है. अगर कोई blind बच्चा है, वो पढ़ना चाहता है LKG UKG में, तो आप बोलोगे कि आप उसको blind school भेजो, but क्या होता है, वो स्कूल में पढ़ सकता है, कोई भी रेगुलर स्कूल में भी पढ़ सकता है with the use of technology. Same way a deaf person, or even same way a person with locomotor disability. तो इसमें ये एक सिस्टम लेवल पे चैलेंज है, स्किलिंग का चैलेंज है, एजुकेशन का चैलेंज है, बेसिक लाइवलीहुड का चैलेंज है. तो ये मल्टीपल चैलेंजेस है. बट मेरा एक और बिलीव है कि प्रॉब्लम ऐसा पकड़ाओ जो उसको पता है कि आप सॉल्व नहीं कर सकते हो अपने लाइफ टाइम में, बट तो भी आप सॉल्व करते हो, राइट? वही तो मज़ा है. सो या दैट्स व्हाट आई वांट टू लीव एवरीवन हियर विथ, एंड प्रोबेबली टेक इन मोर क्वेश्चंस. सो आई विल स्टॉप हियर.
Thank you, Vineet.
Thank you.
We'll open this up for questions.
सबको भूख लगा है तो
Hello, sir.
हेलो.
As we all know that Atypical Advantage was on Shark Tank, and you got a deal of 30 lakhs from Aman and Namita. So I just wanted to know how they are helping Atypical Advantage in achieving its goal.
Okay, I think this puts me on the spot as such, but I think this is a closed group. So I think they reached out to us 6 to 7 months later. So we did not take the deal as such, but we still got the perks of Shark Tank, right? And I think as earlier also I had mentioned, right, I would take in the right set of investors. ये problem बहुत difficult है, तो returns का guarantee any founder cannot give you, but at least I'm more open about this.
Hi. So, firstly, congratulations on doing this great thing. And my question to you is, how would we approach you? What is the process to approach you and be on Atypical Advantage with you?
Anybody can sign up on the platform, and if you have any ideas, suggestions, you can directly put it on the website, contact us, you can reach out to us on social media. So yeah, and right now also if you have any questions, post it. I'm more than happy to take. So, and again, a lot of this website, user experience, everything is highly visual, and again it was done by me. You'll hardly believe that. But as I told you, we have sold paintings. This year, in paintings alone, we are hitting 1 crore in sales. So initially I remember when clients used to ask me, hey Vineet, ये painting कैसा लग रहा है? In spite of telling them that, hey, I can't see, मतलब मेरे से painting के बारे में आप पूछोगे तो that's the least thing, right? मैं आपको क्या input दे पाऊंगा? But the client, नहीं Vineet, बता ये painting अच्छा है कि वो अच्छा है? Then I used to, just as an entrepreneur, ask my friend. He tells, oh, ये painting बढ़िया. Then I used to tell the client कि that has happened with, best of companies where we have worked with.
Vineet, this is Harsh. Vineet, you speak many times, and that is the quote I used, that the opposition of love is love, and on counting the extras. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Oh yeah, this actually comes from the Ladakh story. So see, I have this condition, right? अब इस पे मेरा कुछ control नहीं है. No matter whatever I do, right? Like this is a degenerative condition, which will remain the way it is. Like we have tried Ayurvedic, homeopathy, allopathy, everything in general. And once I was actually running this Ladakh marathon, and I was practicing on the Pangong Lake 10 kilometers. उस time मैं पतला था, so so COVID I think has made me healthy. And while running that, in these high places you have problems in breathing, right? Like आप हाँफते हो और मैं दौड़ रहा हूँ वहाँ पे तो I realized कि I was panting for breath, and I think this is a way on which how I center myself is the only thing. I am grateful towards is you are breathing and you are alive that very moment, and just count your extras, right? Family, friends, whatever money you have. So if you look at it, 2 hands, 2 legs, a mind to think, probably, I don't know. So if you count extras, I'm very sure सबको यहाँ पे देखेगा कि हमारे पास कितने सारे extras है, right? In general, जो हम लोग भूल जाते हैं. और where I used to focus before कि यार मेरे पास देखने का शक्ति नहीं है. That was how I used to probably center myself in a lot of things. And after a point I realized कि यार मतलब जो चीज़ पे आपका कोई control नहीं, आप उस पे कुछ नहीं कर सकते, right? Like कल कुछ हो जाए किसी के साथ भी, you can't predict that in general anyways. The only thing which you can predict is your behavior or counting some of these extras and being grateful towards life. And again, I keep on telling this everywhere I go, is there is no success like shortcut to being happy in general, right? Like happiness or sadness तो life का part है, वो तो रहेगा ही. मतलब no one here can claim कि मैंने अपना पूरा lifetime I was always happy, right? Because that is the way life has been designed to. And I believe the secret to happiness is to be grateful. Grateful people are by default happy. So that is the only mantra which I follow.
Vineet, I am Nishit Bhai here. I like to get some details about the people who are extraordinary in the area of performing art and something like in the field of singers and like that. That would be possible because in 2006 we have called a big band of visually challenged from Mumbai to Bhavnagar to give the real introduction about the ability of differently abled people. And it was very much successful, but I like to have more and more detail about in this area in performing art also. If you are having, would you be able to share?
Yeah, sir, all the details are there on the website, but हम लोग कुछ साथ में 2023 में भावनगर में करते हैं with performers. All the singers, performers are there on the website, and I'll anyway share you separately.
Okay. Vineet, I have a question. Samvedi.
Yeah.
Okay. So my question is, we've heard about the journey post IIM, Future Group, Atypical Advantage. I want to know a little bit about the time between 15 years and IIM Bangalore.
Okay, sure. As such, I think So like some of this I typically you would hard like see me talking less about some of my own personal challenges in general, but so basically मेरे को हमेशा science लेना था, तो I was remembering like 11 में भी मैंने science लिया था, and my sight was deteriorating, and मेरे को I was not very comfortable in even accepting my own disability condition. तो just to give you some examples, टेस्ट ट्यूब हम बर्नर के पास सबको ही डाल रहे हैं, और मेरे को लग रहा है कि टेस्ट ट्यूब और जो बर्नर है वो मैच नहीं हो रहा है, लाइक मैं कहीं और पे टेस्ट ट्यूब को पकड़ा हुआ और बर्नर कहीं और है. सेम वे फिजिक्स में व्हेन वी यूज्ड टू फिगर आउट फोकल लेंथ इन फिजिक्स लैब, तो वहां पे भी मैं अपने शॉर्टकट्स यूज करके काम चला रहा था. एंड बिकॉज ऑफ माई कंडीशन इतना लाइक मुझे स्टैंडर्ड 10 के बाद एक्चुअली पता चला कि ये ऐसा सीरियस कंडीशन है जिससे बाद में साइट कम हो जाएगा, क्योंकि मेरे को ऐसा लगता था. और सेम वे बिकॉज जमशेदपुर में प्रॉब्ली उतना अवेयरनेस नहीं था कि 18 ईयर्स हुआ आप प्लास्टिक सर्जरी कराओगे एंड सब कुछ अच्छा हो जाएगा. सो अ लॉट ऑफ टाइम्स आई यूज्ड टू लाई टू पीपल कि अब कोई बोलेगा तुम्हें ये दिख रहा है, तुम बोलोगे हाँ दिख रहा है, बिकॉज आई वॉज नॉट वेरी कंफर्टेबल इन एक्सेप्टिंग माई ओन कंडीशन. एंड देन द most I would say unfortunate thing is in sometimes क्या होता है जब आप क्योर खोजते हो तो आप कुछ एक्स्ट्रा करने लग जाते हो. तो I had a surgery which had gone wrong, तो लेफ्ट आई में जो भी विजन था वो भी पूरा चला गया, तो लेफ्ट आई छोटा हो गया, राइट. लाइक 2 सर्जरीज हुई मेरे आईज में, एंड एट दैट पॉइंट आई यूज्ड टू हाइड विथ ग्लास, अ टिंटेड ग्लास, ताकि कोई बाहर से देख नहीं पाए कि मेरा लेफ्ट आई छोटा है. बिकॉज इंडिया में या इन जनरल लोग सबसे पहले वही क्वेश्चन पूछते थे कि तुम्हारा लेफ्ट आई छोटा क्यों राइट आई से. एंड आई वॉज नॉट वेरी कंफर्टेबल शेयरिंग, बट साइट इतना कम हो गया था कि अब देयर वाज नो पॉइंट लाइंग अबाउट दिस टू पीपल इन जनरल, बिकॉज मैं अकेले ट्रैवल नहीं कर पाता था एंड सो मेनी अदर स्टफ. सो दिस वॉज समथिंग विच वॉज हैपनिंग फ्रॉम स्टैंडर्ड 11. As such, before standard 11 obviously the sight was not had not gone to that level, so I could still manage my life, but post grad IIM पहुंचते तक तो it had gone significant deterioration. So those years I would say I was always in the house. My parents was कि both of us, me and my brother, because both of us had this challenge, उनको था कि किसी भी तरह ठीक करे. So like in spite sometimes parents भी in my early childhood I remember like they used to like हमें बहुत डांट पड़ती थी अगर हम अपना सामान हमें नहीं दिख रहा है, like तुम्हें नहीं दिखता है क्या, तुम्हें नहीं दिखता है, and the trust me हमें नहीं दिख रहा था. तो and that is how parents sometimes when they have these child with these conditions वो ऐसा होता है in general. So it was this. So and then again the time I would say acceptance came in about my own condition, because again आप बहुत ashamed होते हो, right, like कि यार मेरे में कुछ कमी होगी जो ये हो गया blah blah blah, right. A lot of times we hide some of these things as an individual. अभी तो मैं काफ़ी खुल के ये बोल रहा हूँ, तो मेरे को ध्यान है. एंड समटाइम्स क्या होता है कि जब आप बहुत ज़्यादा अपने आप को प्रूव करने के लिए ये जो भी सोसाइटी चाहती है आप वो करने लग जाते हो ना, उसमें सबसे ज़्यादा प्रॉब्लम आप ही को होती है. तो आई गिव यू सिंपल एग्जांपल. जब मैं ट्रैक काफ़ी डिफ़िकल्ट ट्रैक्स पे जाता था, मैं जस्ट टू प्रूव अ पॉइंट कि मैं ट्रैक्स भी कर सकता हूँ एज अ ब्लाइंड इंडिविजुअल. हरीश चंद्रगढ़, आई एम वेरी श्योर सम ऑफ यू हियर इन वुड हैव डन दैट. इट्स अ moderate to a high difficulty trek, and there's this rock climb which comes 90 degree, and मैं अकेले कर रहा हूँ, ऊपर से कोई इंस्ट्रक्ट कर रहा है लेफ्ट लो राइट लो. there have been few deaths in that place as such. obviously मैं ऊपर चढ़ के सेफली नीचे उतर गया, that's a different route, but कभी कभी foolishness और adventure में difference होता है. and sometimes in order to prove to the society आप खुद के बारे में भूल जाते हो, राइट. लाइक अभी मेरे को नहीं फर्क पड़ता है सोसाइटी मेरे को क्या भी सोचे, एंड समटाइम्स आप वो जस्ट मेरा पूरा लाइफ आप प्रूव करने में लगा दोगे, राइट. लाइक यू आई थिंक एंटरप्रेन्योर्स क्या और इन जनरल पीपल, आई थिंक ये सोसाइटी को प्रूव करने के लिए करने की किसी को कोई ज़रूरत नहीं है, उसमें असली मज़ा नहीं है. आई थिंक मज़ा वो है कि आप खुद के लिए करो, because then you set your own benchmark, you set your own expectations, and there's a very thin line again difference between foolishness and adventure. तो एक point पे probably doing all of this was in the spirit of competition, not or in the spirit of proving to the world. It helps to some degree, but let's not go overboard by it. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Vineet.
Thank you.
We are all very, very grateful to you for starting Atypical Advantage, which is going to be a big platform and bring in a lot of change in the society. And we would all love to be associated with Atypical Advantage in some way or the other. So thank you so much for sharing all these things with us today. We are going to follow this session with lunch. Lunch is going to be served in the hall in the basement. So we will have a break of 30 minutes to have lunch, and then we will come back, and Nishit sir will then address all of us. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.